What's good, party people? This is your friendly neighbor, Chad the Maverick, back again with another video. And what we're gonna talk about today? Today, we're gonna talk about self-assurance. Yeah, that's pretty much that. I've just noticed in general overview from people that I speak to, from just things I observe, like everyone's really having this like difficult time with this whole social media outlet. And this has been happening, but like I just think it's like social media and the way that it's now being set up due to the algorithms. I just saw something the other day with Pharrell, and Pharrell was speaking about how when it comes to creatives and artists and for people in general that just have a business or message to get out there, that they always or they tend to fall now into the social media beast, because there's now algorithms that are essentially giving people platform or taking people's platform away. Like there's a system now in place where you get rewarded and punished for what you post, how you post it, how many times you post it, the time you post it, how many comments you get on it, how many likes you get on it. And it starts to bring it to people's self-worth and their psyche. Like people have been kind of fighting and trampling over each other just to get more likes, or they've been talking negative towards other people, about other people, just so they can get more notoriety. Like I think one of the biggest examples of this, and I don't follow this, I just see it. And if I'm like, so many people are just saying this and I have no following of this and I have no idea, then obviously this is something that's like very mainstream and a lot of people are triggered by it. But there was a thing where it was like this dude, James Charles, and like Toddy or whatever the situation was. And like I know about it just because like I was on Twitter. I had nothing about that beforehand. I didn't know. But it's like people are so quick to like hop on. Someone just called me as I was making this, so I'm saying something. People are so close to like make these waves where it comes to like who's right, who's wrong, who's this, who's that, who has value here, who doesn't have value here. And there's just so many, it's just so wrong. It's so wrong. It's like, why are we fighting one another over like who's popular and who's less popular? Like, but it's stupid because it's not even popular to people. It's what's popular to the machines. It's like what's popular to the inside of a computer. What's popular to inside of a box. It's the same thing as before, as like when people used to like watch TV, like literally watch TV before social media, before cell phones, like, and it's like they just give a certain amount of like power away to the people that are on these screens or on this. Like, don't give your power away to people on screens. We're just on screens. Like even like you're watching this right now on the screen, right? Like what purpose is it to give your power? Like you're just watching something. Like you're just taking something that's on the screen. It doesn't give people more power, because at the end of the day, a person is a person. No matter their title, no matter their like responsibility, no matter anything else, a person is a person. Person is a person, and that's that. You know, different people have different mindsets. Everyone lives their own reality. Everyone lives their own power, their own authority, their own personal assurance. But when you start pushing too much on the outskirts of things is when your mindset gets messed up. You stop paying attention to what's inside of you. You start paying attention to what's outside of you. Like, what can I be? Like, if you are using external sources to try to figure out what's right in you, it's not going to work out that way. And that's something that I have a lot of conversations with people about, because a lot of people, as we're brought up, as we're taught in schools, to take everything from a completely logical approach. Make sure you have X, Y, and Z set up. Make sure you have this. Make sure you have that. But in all reality, sometimes, all right, I take this. Let me rephrase this. It is important for you to learn these skills. It's important for you to learn the skills. It's important for you to harness the skills. However, in this ongoing time and as things progress, these are skills for you to learn. However, it's not the end all be all to how things are supposed to go. per se. So it's good to learn how to be very analytical, be very detail oriented, and etc. But if you're not connected to yourself, what's the point of the details? If you're not connected to like what you truly inhabit and desire, like what's the point of even writing down like a list of things to do in a day? I think the biggest thing and the biggest notion I'm trying to get at is like being in this presence, like being in the present moment and living off of the present moment brings you so much more than something that may be detailed, because a vibe can definitely change within a time frame of you originally planning something out and you actually going to perform it. And by the time you start performing this thing that you already had planned out, you could be miserable about it. But it's like, I already planned it, I already did this, you know? I think what this is right now is that people need to trust in their receptivity, like trust in the things that they're able to receive. Because what comes to you is what comes to you. If you push too far onto anything, eventually that thing will either burst, explode, backlash. Like, the thing about it is that you're supposed to there's a certain form of sincerity. Like, I think this idea is like just coming from a space of sincerity. Like, the consciousness in and of itself is something that I think everyone is connected to at the end of the day. But what people need to do is get more tapped into their hearts. Like, people need to get more tapped into, actually, it's not their hearts. You want to know what people need to get more tapped into? Their gut, their stomach, their gut. People don't trust their gut feeling. The gut is the third brain. There's the brain, the heart, and the gut. These are the three brains. This was put in for the Dantian. This is a Chinese principle, Asian culture principle. They're definitely three hearts. And if I've been paying attention more to like healthy eating and like vegan stuff and etc., just to like learn more about like alkalinizing the body. Get you some alkaline water, for real. This is not a paid sponsorship, but it will be one day. Essential water, like waters that are good for you, because what they're coming to realize or coming to actually bring into Western culture is the fact that there is the gut does actually have way more power than we generally give it credit for. It's our solar plexus, and I'm still going to do the chakra video, but it's our solar plexus, and the solar plexus, if we want to add astrology to it, is like the seat of where like your sun sign operates. So the solar plexus is what you essentially are able to push out. It's the inside of you. You're able to sit in it. You're able to live in it. It's your inner fire. Your solar plexus is your inner fire. It's your inner fire that you want to place out and push. And this is something that people need to start trusting more. Trust your gut. Your gut. Your brain isn't always trying to work for you. Your brain will make you think, because the brain just wants to think. The brain likes to think. The brain likes to solve equations. The brain likes to solve problems. However, these problems are only being solved in your mind in particular, not necessarily on the outskirts of that, which is why if we want to start having solidarity, I think that's the word, within ourselves, we need to trust in our gut. Because our gut is, how many times have you thought something and didn't trust your gut, and then you ended up being wrong or something ended up happening? But every time you get a gut feeling, your heart feels it, and your head's like, oh, this is that. Like, it's the accordance of those three. You have, like I said, there's three brains. Like, and people can say whatever. People can say that's rhetoric, that's this, that, and the third. Look it up. Because I think that's the biggest thing. Everyone that's ever said, oh, this isn't wrong, it's like, look it up. Do legitimate research. Don't just research the top 3 results and then come to me with the top 3 results like, here's the criteria, I researched it, you're wrong. It's like, no, the top 3 results are definitely going to be catered towards a very specific group. A very specific overhaul of what everyone else is supposed to think, because people don't tend to go deeper than the top 3 results. That's why people start to not believe in astrology. That's why people don't necessarily believe in tarot readings. That's why people don't believe in certain things. You look at the top 3 results, and what do you get? You get BS. And if you don't get BS, you get the very principles of it, or they do things in order to confuse you. Like, it's not everything that you need. So that's just my biggest thing as of right now. This wasn't supposed to be like a rant, but this whole thing is about like self-assurance, like finding this inner flame within yourself. And so now I'm going to break more into the actual like gene key portion of this time frame, and I believe the gene key is gene key 20, right? Cool. So I'm gonna break that portion down because I did do some research to kind of back up this rant. So in case y'all was wondering, but yeah. So So gene key 20. So the shadow of this is the insect revolution. That's what they coined it, and essentially, I guess the best way to put it is that the way that humans work, we operate very similar as insects do, in terms of we do we're all working. Like the main population is working all of the time. And the thing about insects is that they work, reproduce, eat, reproduce, and end up dying off by the next. I believe once the cold months start. So they're already coming here with a very set notion of trying to work, right? And the thing about it is that we're very similar to this, but a thing of like we essentially live in the illusion of present moment. Not present moment. We live in the present moment. Isn't that the present moment is exactly what we need to do? But we live in the illusion of linear time. Like for us, time is linear. There's a past, there's a future. The way time actually works is time is very. For example, if anyone's ever had like deja vu before, deja vu is essentially you being in the past, present, and future moment all at once. And I don't know if anyone's ever like had a moment, or maybe it's just lists. It's like what? Because every time someone has a deja vu moment, they're like, it's almost like they freak out. They're like, what just happened? Because you're looking at the past, the present, and the future all at the same time. We're like yo, I've seen this before, but it's supposed to be coming up. But like this is like it's like a weird moment where you're in all of these things at the same time. And it's interesting because as we've grown up, as we've been taught in schools and stuff like that, is that we're supposed to give our thoughts to what's authorized, what's the authority, like how is the authority trying to put us in these boxes, right? However, we can think as much as we want, we can plan as much as we want, but the way that life works is that life's events are going to happen regardless. We can sit here and plan for things, we can sit here and plan for that. And now granted, it's good to plan in order for you to see properly. Virgo, it's like a Virgo Sag type thing. But it's like Virgo is we need these critical details in order for us to like work off of and try to implement. But then the Sag is the ability to like look past it and continue to go. But besides the point, you can't let your thoughts strictly move you. Like the more conscious we are, the less purity is coming forth. The less that we're in our hearts, the less we're in our solar plexus. We're like we need to be in all three of these things in order for us to properly move. And you don't allow life to move you. Correction, you don't move life. Life moves you. So allow the things that come and resonate with you to move you towards those things. Because what resonates with you. And everything that's not planned and really put into the present moment is what's pure, what's raw, and what will generally bring you the best results. Anything that you've done where people have put you in the circumstances to where you had to do it, you ever realize that you have to complain about it later? That there's some complaint, there's some type of distraught. It's like, oh man, like, oh, I wish I didn't do this because this person is making me blah, blah, blah. Or like, oh, maybe not because that. And that's negative towards yourself. No one else. Like, my biggest thing, even when I make these videos, is less about, I don't care if you're here to see me talk about it. I don't care if any of that, to be honest. I want you to recognize you. I want you to recognize your soul, to recognize that, not for anybody else, but for you, because we live in this time, like I mentioned before, everything's just online. Everyone's started off something from something fake, from something ingenuine. I want people to tap into what's authentic. Like, what is your heart saying? What's your gut saying? What's your brain saying? Are they all aligned? Are they all in accordance to what you truly desire? Because you can make whatever you desire. You can see whatever you desire. Like, it happens. It's so possible. We look at these things on the screen and they tell us the same thing. They always tell us the same thing. It's like, yeah, just put some work into it. You can do it, you know? It's more of a rant than it is an actual thing, but I hope there's some messages that are coming through. But when it comes to this, right, I think one of the most interesting things that I did when I was researching this is that they pointed out and they were saying that the leaf has a better understanding of life than mankind as a whole. And to be honest, it's true. You want to know why? Because a leaf is a leaf, and the leaf understands it's a leaf. The leaf does what a leaf does. It's weird because we try to, I guess, push ourselves, but it's like because everyone is as unique as that. Because there's different trees. Every different tree has a different leaf, but it's like they all know what role they play because they're truly themselves in a sense. We as people have this consciousness that allows us to try and play into different roles, try to play into different points of view, try to play other people's lives in comparison to living our own. And that's what screws up our mind. And then we end up straying more away from ourselves and how we truly feel. Truly feel. Not how we're like designed to feel. Because no one at their true core is hateful. I do not believe that. I believe there may be some things where some people may have more dark qualities or may have more dark notions, so to speak. And dark just meaning what we would consider dark. But in all reality, I think like no one is internally heinous. Like no one is internally like that bad. This is always generally due to pent up notions where they couldn't express who they are. So express who you are. I think this time frame, if anyone wants to really get into this next couple of days, dive into your solar plexus, the idea of your solar plexus. Try to do maybe like if you're into health, like a gut type of cleanse. This is it's real critical. We're heading into some critical times because everyone has an opinion, but no one knows how to express their opinion properly, including myself. I get into some arguments sometimes on social media. Like I'll post something and people are like, not arguments because I don't argue, but it's like I have to explain myself because I may say something that's off or it may seem off to someone, but my biggest thing when I think about it, because I live in this presence as much as possible, and this is what I'm trying to get to. I'm from my solar plexus, from like that. I try to as much as possible. I don't try to like tell people things that I don't consistently attempt to work on myself because that's just I don't like that personally. That's just me. But I think one of the biggest things is that it's about just expression. Like people have been so scared to express themselves, and I know I'm rambling at this point. I'm ending the video, but deep dive into your stomach, into your solar plexus, and it'll extend your aura in order for things to come your way that match that. And I'm gonna leave it right there. This is a very loose rant about self-assuring yourself. Like you are everything you need. Everything that you truly want, you want. Don't want something because someone else wants that. Unless you guys both have that similar vibe or you have that similar feel. But it's just like, be yourself. Be yourself. Be assured in who you are. Right? Like I'm here chilling. I like this bandana. I decided to put it on because I wanted to, and I like it. Like what I'm saying? It's just don't be afraid. Don't be as afraid. I'm gonna work on that too. I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to push that notion and not work on it myself. But yeah, that's it. I hope everyone has a great next couple of days, and live your best life. Maverick.